Hi guys, welcome to Ability Coach. I'm Tricor Fitness and today we're going to be working on our core. So our core, our abs, our obliques, our rectus abdominis, our transverse abs, all this section here is commonly known as your trunk. And the reason why I'm going to call it the trunk is because the workout that we're going to do today is going to be based around functionality. So those who play sports, for those of you who lift weights or you do sort of functional movements, we're going to do a core workout that doesn't just comprise of sit-ups, leg raises, and sort of lying down stationary movements. We're going to focus on utilizing the core whilst moving the rest of our body. Because you can imagine if you play tennis or if you play golf or you're a boxer or you do anything like that, you're going to need your core to be stable to be able to do certain movements, move properly, hit a ball, swing a golf club. You're going to need that core engagement to work in synergy with the other muscles in your body. So what we're going to do first, sorry to interrupt. I just forgot to say as well, for this workout, you are going to need some equipment. You're going to need a dumbbell, or I guess you could use a kettlebell, or any sort of weight hanging around your house. Bag of sugar if you want, bag of flour. You want anything between like 2 to 10 kg. This is what I'm using. So this is for the a bit more stronger people. We're going to be using these resistant bands. Don't think that will show up. So resistant bands, really long resistant bands here. And also my ab wheel. You can also use a barbell with weights on where you can roll out and roll in. So don't worry, I'm going to do the body weight exercises as well. But for those who have equipment, I'm going to use these as well. Okay, you may continue. To just make sure that we warm up our spine. So a very simple lateral flexion from side to side. You're just going to try and reach down to each side of your knee. This is just going to hopefully wake up your spinal cord, make sure that the joints in your spine are nice and warm. And then we're going to go for front flexion and extension. Flexion and extension. And with this, really think about your spine curling forward and then coming back up again. And then I just want you to go a little bit lower and back up. Might find there's a few cracks in your back. That's fine. That's what we want to do. We want to get those cracks out. Essentially, we don't want those cracks to happen when we're lifting any weight. All right, so now you're going to lift your arms over, and at the same time now we're stretching out the obliques. And then we're doing this rotational movement. Now, this is a very important movement that we're going to be working on today. A rotation, as I was just showing you then, when you're hitting a ball or when you're throwing a punch or any type of movement where you're going to need power, where you're going to twist the hips and the core, this has to be very strong. So we're just going to start here by keeping the hips forward and just rotating the arms around. And just think about your upper torso turning and your hips staying forward. Again, we're just warming up, staying nice and light, getting any of those little cracks out. Then we're going to get the hands up in the air and just continue that movement. So this is a bit harder because you're not using the arms for momentum and using your shoulders to make you feel like you're turning more. When your arms are up now, you're actually going to have to twist the torso a lot more than you would do in the other movement. And I want you to really engage your core here. Make sure you're breathing. And we're going to go into breathing as well. It's a very important part of keeping a strong core, that when you're moving and when you're exercising, that you're breathing properly. So we're going to go through a few exercises that are going to help you with diaphragm breathing, so that you're taking a nice breath in, pushing down into the core and keeping them stable. All right, so we are going to start with the normal ab workout, which is just going to be some crunches, some leg raises, a few plank positions, just to really warm those muscles up and activate the core. So we're going to start off in a plank position. What we're going to do here, nice and simple, you're just going to push the leg out and then raise up. Now what's important about this movement is that we're not dipping and allowing the core to relax, okay? So you want to push the leg out and then bring it up. So there you'll find a glute engagement. Now earlier I spoke about the movements that we're doing today that are going to work in unison or work in synergy with other muscles. The glutes play a major part in movement when it comes to engaging the core. You're going to need to build that relationship. So I haven't really counted them. For you guys at home, probably do about 15. And then you're going to change legs. So you're pushing out and then squeezing at the top. Push out and then squeeze. We'll go for one more. And then change legs. So another thing we want to think about here is, again, not dipping in. Yeah? We want to think about tucking our hips under a little bit, so that we're getting that ab engagement. As I say, this is mainly for the glutes, but we're building that relationship between your glutes and your core. So I want you to keep the core engaged, tuck the hips down and squeeze the abs. Make sure you're taking nice deep breaths, control your breathing. Go in through your nose and out through your mouth. Again, keeping that abs nice and tight. We go for 2 more. Good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is progress that movement. So now when the leg comes out, we're at the same time, we're going to reach the arm up and back down. So this time it's a little bit less of that raise there where we work in the glute. And it's just a little bit more of just getting into that Superman position and coming back in again. And what I want you to do is not allow your knee to touch the ground. So you're reaching out, coming back in, the knee hovers above the ground, and then you reach back out again. Again, making sure your core's engaged. Don't drop in, don't stick the glutes in the air. Tuck the glutes in and back in. And we're going to do this last one. We're going to hold it for 5 seconds. So reach out, hold. Now I want you to squeeze your abs. Find the position in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. You will feel a little bit of tightness in your lower back, and that's fine. Another major part of your core is the erector spinae, or your lower back muscle. So we do want to make sure that that is also warming up. All right, not too much though. Yeah, we don't want to make it too tight. We just want to, again, tuck the glutes in, push the leg out, opposite arm comes out, back in, and reach out. If you feel the back is starting to tighten up, again, just try and squeeze the abs a bit more, yeah? The tighter you make those abs, the little bit more of a roundedness is happening in the lower back. Go for 2 more. On this last one, out and hold for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. All right, so now just to tackle that bit of tightness that you're having in the lower back, you're just going to curve, tuck your chin in, curve the back, and then drop back down again. Push the glutes out, and then back up again. Tuck the chin in, bringing the shoulder blades apart and creating a curve in the lower back. And back in again. Now we tighten in the muscle and then stretching the muscle. And again, 1 more. Okay, so that's a good enough warm up for the lower back, for the glutes. Now we're just going to hit a few crunches just to really target the abs. So however you feel comfortable with these crunches. If you want to have your feet in the air, you can. If you want them flat, you can. If you want to just have your hands sliding up to your knees and then back down, that's also fine. Okay, as I say, this isn't more like an ab workout. It is a core workout. So we're using this exercise now just to literally activate the core muscles. Okay, so the advanced movement is here. Making sure the hands are at the side of the head and not behind the head. We don't want to pull the neck in. Just keep going with that. If you start to feel the burn and the lactic build-up, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get that blood flowing into the abs. We're trying to wake up all the receptors in the muscle. And the last one I want you to hold. So reach up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down. All right, so you should be feeling that in your stomach there. I definitely am. So you should be feeling a little bit. If not, you can, keep going. You can add a few rounds in if you want. But as I say, the harder stuff's coming soon, so just use that as your warm-up. And then we're just going to work our hip flexors and our lower part of our rectus abdominis, which is just the lower part of your abs. And the way we're going to do that is put the hands under your glutes. And we're going to go for 2 options. Now, this option is based on any pain or clicking you might feel in your lower back. So the harder option is feet out, bringing it up and back down. Bringing it up to about a 90-degree angle, back down. You don't want your feet to touch the ground. You don't want them to relax. You want your toes pointed out, feet together, squeezing in. Now, if you're starting to feel like clicks in your back or it doesn't feel too comfortable, then the easier option is to go for the knee tuck. So if we look at the thighs, we're still doing the same movement, but the difference is there's less weight attached to it, because instead of bringing your feet up, you're allowing your feet to stay down. So it's just the thighs coming up. Same movement though. The reason why I say put your hands under your glutes is that at the bottom, we don't want to encourage this hyperextension and there's too much weight to be pulling the back and putting your back in a bad position. So I say put the glutes up on your hands just to encourage the back to stay in a nice neutral spot, and then we're concentrating on just working the abs. And also, you notice my head stays off the ground. That's another way to engage like the top part of your abs. If you want, you can relax your head down and just really work at the bottom. So we're gonna really go into the lower part of this movement, which is down here. So we're just gonna do 10 pulses here, right at the bottom. As I say, if that one's too hard, you can just go for slight knee tuck. And we're counting down from now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Whoa. Okay, we're feeling it. Just a little disclaimer as well. Doing ab workouts isn't going to burn belly fat. If you look at one of my previous videos, I talk about not being able to spot reduce. So this is a common misconception that if you've got a bit of belly fat, do a whole bunch of ab crunches and ab workouts, and your belly fat's going to go down. You're going to have these great abs. That's not the case. Essentially, you have to be able to follow a fat loss program, which, if you need me to send you one, I can. Follow a fat loss program that's going to burn your fat down, and then doing the ab workouts are going to help develop your muscles underneath. But just doing ab workouts without following a fat loss program is just going to lead you to have quite strong abs. I'm not going to deny that. You're definitely going to have some well-developed abs, but you're not going to be able to see them because you've still got the layer of fat on. All right, so we're just going to finish with a little transverse movement. Now, the easy option is just staying up and twisting. And the harder option is coming back, coming up and bringing the knee up. Right, okay, so let's go with that. We're just reaching each side. And if you notice today, I'm not really putting any time limits or really putting any numbers on it. I'm just going off the burn that I feel. If you want to go for longer, you can. If you feel like you've already hit your burn way earlier than I finished, then of course you can stop. But with training, a lot of the time we have to go with what we feel, and especially with a warm-up. Essentially, we're just trying to get the lactic acid, we're trying to get the blood flowing into the muscles. So as soon as you start to feel that burn, you can relax a little bit. We're going to do a quick stretch of the abs, and then we're going to go into the more functional core exercises. So that stretch is called, I call it a cobra, but I think it's actually called an upward facing dog. It really depends on how you do it. So I think the cobra, which I learned from a yoga instructor when I done the class the other day, the cobra is when you drop your hips, have your hands down, so you're almost like in this sphinx position, and then you just roll up. So look up towards the ceiling. You should feel that stretch. I prefer this upward, is it upward dog? Sorry, these yoga teachers are going to kill me, I get this wrong. I think it's upward facing dog, maybe. But this one is where your arms extend, your hip isn't as dedicated to the floor as it was in the previous one. Just relax the shoulders back, make the space between your ears and shoulders. And just hold it there for a little bit. You can turn and control your breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. So you may just want to meditate for a couple seconds, just, you know, get the body ready, because it's going to get a little bit tough with this workout. Then I would say to push back, push your glutes back, and just stretch there. Yeah, so a little bit of a stretch on the lower back. Hold that position. Drop back into it. And push back again. All right, cool. So that's our warm-up. Now I'm going to get into a few more functional exercises. All right, so our first exercise, we're going to be using a resistant band. Nice stretchy resistant band here. If you don't have a resistant band, then you can use a towel, or you can use, like a rugby sock, a football sock, anything that's got a little bit of elasticity to it. A t-shirt can do. Because what we're trying to do here is basically we want to go into what's called a axe chop or wood chop sort of movement. So we're going to try and keep the hips as forward as possible. So we don't want to be turning here, because then it's not really working the core as much as we want. So at the bottom position, what I'm going to get you to do is just pull on a resistant band or whatever you're holding, and you should feel an engagement of your core. So then when you relax it, the core's not engaged, and then when you pull on it, core should be engaged. All right, so if you find that difficult, then pause this and just try it a few more times. You relax, core's not engaged, pull on it, should be engaged. All right, so we're going to get to the bottom here. Again, we're sort of like at a tilted angle of the arms, one arm's lower than the other. Create the tension, pull on it, squeeze the abs, and then turn up. So for this, you probably want to do about 12 to 15. You want to keep the tension on, and what's important here is the breathing, all right, and also locking out the arms. So in as you come up, exhale as you come down. Constantly keeping the tension on in the abs. And what you should be feeling here as you come up is the core really activating. If it doesn't feel like you are, if you feel like there's not much happening here, then I would say pull on this a bit more. Take a bit more time out to get that mind to muscle connection, so that your movement isn't based on your upper body, it isn't based on your hips, it's literally based on this section here, this trunk section. So here, and then we're just going to change sides. Ugh. So same thing, angle onto the side that we're leaning into, hips forward, create the tension, breathe in. Constantly keep that tension on all the way through the movement. Now, by tilting the arms down, you're putting yourself into a slight lateral flexion, so you're flexing over to one side and then turning, right? So these are the type of movements that we get into if you play tennis or you do any types of sport. We want to be able to master being in that position and having core engagement. So I want you to do about 3 sets of that. 10 to 15 reps, just to really connect to that muscle. Okay, so pause this tape, give it a go, 3 sets of 15, and then come back in, we'll get to the next exercise. Okay, so our next exercise, we're going to be using the dumbbell or the weight or the bag of sugar or the bag of flour, and we're going to stick to a rotational movement. So what I'm going to get you to do here is lift up the weight, whatever that weight might be. I'm going to get you to stick your glutes out, lean forward as if you're doing a Romanian deadlift. When you get to about halfway, what we're going to be doing here is doing a swing up and then controlling down to the center. So we're swinging up, and when I say swing, ignore that. It's not a swing. We're going to be pulling the weight up. So using that rotational movement in this position, we're going to squeeze the abs to bring the weight up to the side. Keep your face in line with the weight so that you're not sort of swinging that side. You want to keep your face in line and down. So this is going to build that relationship between your lower back and your abs, yeah? We don't want to give too much work to the lower back. Putting us in this position automatically is working the erector spinae, because this muscle is trying to keep you upright. Because in this position, essentially what you want to do to take the pressure off that muscle is just do that, yeah? So what we're going to do is sit up in this position, use this position whilst we work in the erector spinae, and then work the core by swinging the weight up, right? So for this one, depending on the weight that you're using, I would say about 10 reps for the heavier weights. If the weight's quite light, about 15. But go to the point where you start to feel it in your back. We don't want to overdo it. Again, what we're trying to do is create that relationship between the core and other muscles. So we're really trying to get you to engage your core in the movement by not allowing your back to do all the work. We want the core to squeeze and come down. Squeeze and come down. And then other side, same thing. We're squeezing up and controlling down to the center. Up and down to the center. So I want you to do one set on each side. Once you've done that one set, we're going to just change up for the next set. So we're just going to progress the movement a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is not only are we bringing it up, but then we're going to control it down and then swing straight into the other side. Yeah, so we're coming up, down, other side and control. So we're activating one side, controlling it, boom, switching on the other side and pushing up off the other way. Okay, so we're going to do 10 reps from here. Control, bam, power off, back down into the center, dead stop and start again. So power up, control, power the other side. We're looking for 10 reps on that side. Once you've done 10 reps, go in one direction, you're going to do 10 reps the other direction. So same thing, but the other way. So we're exploding here from the dead stop, control, and again down. Main thing is not to allow it to just swing all the way through. We want to control down and then let up. Yeah, so 10 reps on that side. If you've not done that already, then you can pause it as we're going to get on to the last variation of that exercise. So for the last set, what we're going to be doing is up, up, change. 2 on each side. Up, up, change. Up, up, up. And this is going to be 10 on each side. So the 2 reps equals 1. 2 reps equals 1. In total, that's 1 rep. You start again. 2 reps equals 2. 2 reps equals 2 on the other side. That's your total of 2. We're going to go try and get up to 10. If your back starts to feel a little bit more pain than you feel comfortable with having, then of course stop. Go for a little stretch of the lower back. Grab your hands behind your hamstrings or your knees. Tuck your chin in. Imagine there's a hook in your back pulling you up. And just stretch it out slightly. You want to keep that tension on for about 10 seconds. Guys, we're going to do one more exercise. We're going to be using this ab wheel. Now, as I said, if you've got a barbell and you can roll the barbell out, that's a good option. If you haven't got any of this equipment, you can actually use a towel on like a pine or laminated floor, let's say. So I'm just going to demonstrate it with the ab wheel because I don't have a laminated floor. But with the towel, you'd basically just slide out and come back in again. With the ab wheel, we're allowing ourselves to come out. Now, what we definitely don't want to do here, again, relating to the lower back, is we don't want to allow it to dip in too much. And we don't want to come out too far. It's going to be quite bad for your back. And another thing is that this exercise can actually start working your lats, and we don't really want it to work your lats. We want it to work the hips, the abs. So the best thing to do is think about that tuck, right? That tuck's important. See, we're now adding the core in to stabilizing us in the movement. As you come out, you're keeping that tuck on, you're bringing the hips forward, and you should now feel the abs engaging. Don't worry about going too low, just to about there. And back in again. So I'm constantly keeping the abs engaged, reaching out, and back up. Now, there is some upper body strength to this and there is some lat work to it, but we don't want to shift the work to that muscle too much. We want to make it all about the abs. So tuck in the glutes in, squeeze the abs, and back in again. So we're looking for about 10 reps there. Again, 3 sets we'll go with. And eventually you want to get to a point where you can get nice and low down, but again, not arching the back. And then also, I'm going to attempt this, please don't laugh when I do it, to be up on your feet. And do that. No, to be up on your feet and be able to roll back in again. Something that, you know, clearly I'd need a bit of practice on. Give that a try, 3 sets of 10 reps. Pause this video, give it a go. Okay, so just to finish off, we're going to do some nice and easy exercises just to, again, bring in that mind to muscle connection with the core. At this point, after all these exercises that you've done, you should feel like it's quite tight in this area. If you feel like your lower back is aching a little bit, then the tighter you get your core, the less stress on your lower back. So just think about that, okay? So what we're going to do, quite simply, is just reaching down to the toes, pushing the glutes back, and at the same time this is stretching out your lower back, making sure your core's engaged. So we're just going to do that for another 10 seconds. And then I want you to spread your feet across, reach down. We are trying to stretch the lower back, but you're going to feel it in your hamstrings. If it's too much in your hamstring, then just bend your knees slightly, lean forward, tuck the chin in, and just give your lower back a stretch. You may want to hold on to a bit of weight. So you might want to put your weight down on the ground or your dumbbell and sort of pull on it, tuck the chin in, relax the shoulders, curve the back so we're getting a bit of a flexion and stretch all the way down the center of your back. And then coming up slowly and go back down again. Grip the weight or just have your hands hanging. Tuck the chin in. Squeeze the abs as you're holding that position. 3, 2, 1. Coming up nice and slow. And then we just want to rotate here. Again, as we started. Now it might feel a little bit different. So we've done this in the beginning. Let me know how this feels now that you've ended and your core's a little bit more engaged. How does this feel? What is the difference? Because you're going to find that over time, that difference is going to be a lot more long lasting, so that when you are doing sports or doing anything, there's going to be a lot more core engagement and it's really going to help out your lower back. Okay, good. So I won't take up any more of your time. Let me know how you feel about that workout. We're going to do a few more core and lower back and glute sort of exercises because I feel like this is an issue that's really affecting a lot of my clients, and it's quite simple. If you can do this 3 or 4 times out of the week, just build it into your routine, you're going to reap the rewards of it in the long term. All right, so thanks everyone for tuning in. Hopefully see you on my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with people who you feel it might help.